Honey Boy is a surprisingly wonderful film from director Alma Harrell and writer Shia LaBeouf that really chronicles his life as an early child star and his relationship with his father, and it was surprisingly very good. The film stars Shia LaBeouf as his father, in essence, and his character is played by the younger version being Noah Jupe and the older version being Lucas Hedges. There's a couple other supporting actors that pop up in the film. But really, the focus is on Shia's relationship with his father, with him playing his father figure, and Noah Jupe really being the standout performer in this one as the younger Shia LaBeouf, or Otis as he's called in the film. It's a very good film. I would apologize to anything bad I said about Shia LaBeouf, because if even half of the stuff in this film is true, then it gives you a good look at kind of what he went through, the physical and emotional abuse that he suffered at the hands of his father, coming from a broken home and such like that. And it's very good. It's very well done. You can tell it's a little bit artsy. It's solidly an indie film, but all the parties involved do a pretty good job with it. The film kind of opens with the modern or present day Lucas Hedge character on a movie set. You can tell he's basically a raging alcoholic, and that ends up causing him some troubles, i.e. kind of this issues that Shia LaBeouf has been having, where he gets in a car wreck, gets arrested, goes on a drunken rant with the cops, and then gets sent off to rehab. And at rehab, he's told, you got this as your last chance. If you mess up, if you leave the rehab, then you're going to go to jail and have to serve out the time. So he starts to kind of bond with the counselors in a way where they tell him, you need to look back over your life because you are exhibiting some of the issues or signs of PTSD, possibly from an abusive relationship with his father. And that's when the film cuts to the past timeline, approximately 10 years before, where the Noah Jupe character comes in as young Shia, or young Otis in this instance. And you can see that his father he says he's sober, but he's pretty much on edge the entire time, and he's basically just kind of a scoundrel you can tell early on that he's really just kind of using his child. He's there, but he's not really a father figure. No matter how hard he tries or what he says he is, he's not. And that leads to, Otis being involved in the Big Brother program, which his father doesn't like, and finally his father relents to let him go to a baseball game with the Big Brother, and only under the condition that he meets him, that Tom, the Big Brother, comes over, has a barbecue with his father. Well, that occurs, but it doesn't go well for them. Shia LaBeouf's character gets mad, yells, screams at him, throws him in the pool, tells him to stay away from his son, kind of accuses him of, maybe being a pedophile, wanting to hang out with little boys, stuff like that. And you can tell that it really affects the younger Noah Jupe character in this, because he is obviously searching for someone to be a father figure, to be kind of a positive influence on him, and obviously he doesn't have it in the Shia LaBeouf character here. And then it flash forwards to the point where the older character is back into rehab, and you can see he starts to kind of bond over some small talk with one of his roommates, and his counselors are still trying to get him involved in the different programs and things like that, but he doesn't really want to. He's still just not willing to accept that he actually has these issues. He may actually have PTSD because of his horrible relationship with his father. One of the camp counselors is like, basically, you just need to go out into the woods, scream as loud as you can, let all that anger out, and let it serve as a release for you. And then eventually he finally does do this, and you can kind of see some healing start to occur on his side. Well, it flashes back again to the past character, where the younger Shia LaBeouf character Otis has then at that point gotten a role for a movie that's in Canada, but he's unsure if his father can go because he's actually a registered sex offender. Calls his mother up, and then there's an argument that the little boy has to stand between the parents, in essence relaying both of what they're saying to the other. And you can tell he just doesn't want to be involved. He's like, just take this out, do it with yourself. And he's like, I want you to be more of a father, but Shia LaBeouf's character doesn't want to be the father, and he's like, whatever. But the kid ends up finally growing some stones and tells his father off. He yells at him, screams at him. He's like, you're not my father. I want you to be a better father. Why are you doing this? If I didn't pay you, you wouldn't be here. You can't get a job because you're a sex offender, and I hate you. Well, this sends the Shia LaBeouf character over kind of deep in. He goes off to a strip club, gets some drugs, gets high, in the bathroom, then comes back home the next morning to find his son in the bed with another little girl in this really shitty motel that they live in. But it's not in like a sexual way, it's more of a platonic kind of a bonding way, because he is still a young child that is looking for somebody to show him some kind of love and compassion. And this girl, who also appears to come from a broken home or a really bad childhood, is just sitting there kind of cuddling, rubbing his head and stuff, and providing basically a shoulder to cry on. And he kind of bonds with her a little bit. The girl ends up slapping Shia LaBeouf's character, you're a bad person. She runs out of the room before Shia LaBeouf runs to the bathroom, throws up several times, and then starts to break down. How does it feel? The way you talk to me like this, I'm your father. And again, the little boy kind of holds his ground and says, well, you wouldn't be here if I didn't pay you. And that ends up being kind of a breakthrough back in the present timeline for the older character, Lucas Hedges. And he realizes or understands that he's been holding on to a lot of stuff he needs to let go. So at that point, he then sees a chicken, which his father's a rodeo clown who had this daredevil chicken that comes up a couple times in some weird like little dream sequences where he's basically like playing with this chicken and stuff. But he follows this chicken off and ends up making his way back to this really crappy motel that they used to stay at. He sees his father in his rodeo clown garb, and he kind of has like a little bonding session with him at the pool where they talk for a little bit, and he tells him, Dad, I'm going to make a movie about you. And then Shia LaBeouf looks at him and is like, oh, all right, just make me look good, will you? And then he's just kind of like, okay. And then they get on the motorcycle and kind of ride off, mirroring some earlier scenes when they would come back from set and they would be riding the motorcycle with the boy on the father's back, kind of drifting and falling asleep. And this time it's mirrored with the boy, or the adult now, Lucas Hedges' character, driving the motorcycle with the father then on his back, with his head, laying on him, and then he starts to dissolve away, and you can see that this was all in his head. He just needed to create this breakthrough for himself, and that's how the film ends. And it's a pretty good film. I would highly recommend it. It is something that was unexpected. Shia LaBeouf is a little bit out there sometimes in some of the things he does, but this film definitely came from a good place. You can tell he was actually pouring his heart out in the writing here, and he did a very good job with it. Again, I would recommend this film if you get a chance to watch it. It's over on Amazon, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Thank you, and please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and have a good day.